Hello everyone, this is your friend. I'm going to explain today how to answer this question, which is frequently asked in every testing interview. So the question is how to test a login page. So from my experience, I have seen every interviewer with they will start with this kind of question and they will move on to other questions. But as a candidate, you should be prepared for this kind of question. So this is a very basic kind, and as shown in the image, you can see mostly in the login pages there will be these three fields most commonly: username, password, and a submit button. So how would you test it? The first thing that comes to my mind is, yeah, I'll enter some username, I'll enter some password, and I'll click submit. It should give me something. So or otherwise I'll not enter username, I'll enter only password and then submit. So what after that? Actually, when you answer this kind of question, you should say I'll enter a username, I'll enter a password, and then I'll submit. But after that, I should get some confirmation that I am logged in, or I should get some confirmation showing that this is the home page because you have logged in, this is the home page you are reaching. So that kind of verification message or some kind of indication should be there, even if it's not giving you any indication like you have successfully logged in. As a tester, you should verify that you have logged into the proper application which is showing the proper home page. Another thing is, suppose you have entered some wrong username, you can say that I'll enter some wrong username, I'll enter some wrong password and click submit button. So accordingly, the application should show you that something is wrong, some pop-up message or something should come. So this is the verification part, which is very important in case of testing. So these are the manual steps I'm talking about. So when you go for automation also, this verification plays a very important role. I'll come to that part in my next video. So suppose you have said I'll enter some values here. So this is from the UI you were talking about. So rather than saying that I'll enter this kind of string, that kind of string, you can directly better to go to some extreme cases like because it's expecting a string, I'll enter some null values here and I'll try to submit. So accordingly, the application should give me some proper messages. Similarly, you can say I'll put some empty string here and I'll check that. Similarly, you can say I'll check the case sensitivity. So this is a good point actually to check. In many applications, the developers sometimes mistake to handle these things. So this, for me, from UI side, these things are enough to tell the interviewer. If he's asking for more, you can tell hundreds of test cases here in the UI side. As an interviewer, nowadays they are expecting more than only UI validation. So what you can tell, you can say I would perform some JUnit tests as well. So I hope you know a little bit of JUnit. If you don't know, I'll put a video on that. But what happens in JUnit testing, you have access to a function. Okay, suppose the function name is f1 and it has some parameters, something like this. So what happens in this case, these parameters would be probably user and password. So when you perform your JUnit testing, you will test different combinations of values here. You will pass different combination of values. How you would write exactly a JUnit test, I'll provide it in my later videos. So for now, Yeah, so your function would be a function that has two parameters, string user and password. So you can enter different combinations of this parameters, and you can test the how the function logging function works. So this is the code level testing, the unit level testing. Mostly the developers do that. It's their responsibility to write the unit level testing. But yeah, sometimes in many cases, mostly in agile methodology, they encourage you to know the code, and in that case you can write unit testing as well. So another way to test this kind of application is REST testing, I should say. What is REST and what is REST calls, REST API? I put a separate video on that. But you can tell the interviewer that mostly nowadays applications are REST based, so I can download some REST client and I can do a testing on that by putting different payloads. So I'll not go into very details about how to test REST-based applications, but I'll put a separate video on that. So I have told you three ways how to test login application. So I think this should be enough. I mean, I hope this will impress the interviewers. And if you like the video, please subscribe, share, or like it, and please let me know what other kinds of interview related questions or videos you want. I'll try to provide it in my channel. Thank you.